Hey, how's it going? John Rail here with my longtime Odds Must Be Crazy partner, Wendy Hughes. If you don't know Wendy, you're crazy because she's kind of everywhere that skepticism is. And we're gonna try a little experiment today. We're gonna film us presenting an episode of The Odds Must Be Crazy.
For skepticality.
For skepticality, by the way. So if you don't know what The Odds Must Be Crazy are, go subscribe, listen to Skepticality, Skepticism's longest ever podcast. They were on the stage with Steve Jobs, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, not the actual hosts, but
their logo. Their old logo, actually. Their old logo. Because they've got a new logo.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
They've been on the air for They've been on...
They've been podcasting.
They've been podcasting for 10 years. And it's sort of evolved from like an interview segment to like a
News
magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a magazine podlet thing. And we are one of those podlets. So we thought we'd just throw up the old video camera and give it a try. Hello and welcome to The Odds Must Be Crazy on Skepticality, where the man who created Sherlock Holmes believed in actual fairies.
And where Sir Isaac Newton poked a needle into his eye on purpose.
Evolutionary trigger warning. Humans are not descended from monkeys or any other primate living today. We do share a common ape ancestor with chimpanzees. It lived between 8 and 6 million years ago, but humans and chimpanzees evolved differently from the same ancestor.
No means no. Bonobos at the Leipzig Zoo were filmed shaking their heads no in disapproval in order to get infants to stop playing with their food, well, instead of eating it, or to keep an infant from straying. In one instance, a mother retrieved her baby bonobo from an attempt to climb a nearby tree. The infant made continual efforts to scale the tree, with mom bringing her back each time. The final attempt ended with the mom pulling her infant by the leg and shaking her head while looking at the baby. While the researchers aren't sure whether the bonobos really mean no in their head shakes, the results do hint the behavior may be an early precursor to negative head-shaking gestures in human beings, according to study researcher Crystal Schneider of the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig. No means no for other primates too. At the Arnhem Zoo, we had a female chimpanzee who would shake her head to say no. For example, when an infant was ready to approach a male in a bad mood, the female would shake her head at the infant. Franz de Waal, a primatologist at Emory University, told Live Science. I'm Wendy Hughes.
And I'm John Rail. Do you acknowledge our relationship with monkeys?
Yep. That's just another way of saying I think we humans and other great apes evolved from a common ancestor. A long time ago, I worked for a nonprofit that supported our local zoo. It was a dream job. One of the specific perks was being able to wander around in the zoo on my lunch and on our breaks. Our office was not very far from the gorilla enclosure, but I used to look at all the primates. Some people consider zoos cruel because the animals aren't free, but for some animals, their natural habitat has been destroyed or co-opted, and zoos are the only places where they can live and reproduce. One of my strongest memories, though, was that the zoo used to smell like skunks in the morning, but I found out it was really the maned wolves.
I think I might prefer the skunks in that case. Skepticality listener and friend of The Odds Must Be Crazy, Brian Hart, sent this coincidence story. I'm taking college-level courses at UCLA to complete my education. I was sitting an hour before class and reading in our anthropology book a chapter about primates. I had no idea there were so many species around the globe. Anyway, one of the old world species I had never heard of before, the vervet monkey, native to Africa, was mentioned in the book along with its picture. The chapter I was reading was about sexual reproduction, populations, groups, etc. I closed the book and headed on to my anthropology class and put on George Hrab's skeptical show, the Geologic Podcast, episode number 383. In the amusing segment called Interesting Fauna, Geo started talking about a species of primate and its mating habits. Can you guess which species? Yep, the vervet monkey. I'll be a monkey's uncle, or I share about 96% of my DNA with my monkey uncle.
So, George has been known to mention the odds must be crazy on his podcast. Now, we get to return the favor. Cognitive psychologist and statistician contributing editor Barbara Drescher took a look at this story for us.
Barb came up with some good comments, even though her analysis didn't include the odds Brian probably wanted. Barb said, "It's a cute story, but there is absolutely no way to calculate the odds of this happening. It's highly likely that the author would read about vervet monkeys in an anthropology book, but the likelihood of the topic being discussed on a podcast is a pretty difficult thing to quantify. George is not an anthropologist, zoologist, or any other profession that would be expected to talk about primates. He is a musician by trade, and his podcast is about science and skepticism. There are many potential topics for this show, and while monkeys certainly aren't a strange thing to discuss, it's not exactly a commonly discussed topic. I think we just have to tip our hat to nature for this one and accept that this is one of those funny, unlikely coincidences that we just can't quantify. That, and thank the coincidence gods for the opportunity for endless puns about monkeys."
I wonder what she meant by that. Say, John, what is a chimp's favorite snack?
I don't know. I give up.
Chocolate chimp cookies. Thanks for listening to The Odds Must Be Crazy. Please be sure to stop by our website and involve yourself. Make a comment. Tell us if you think we got it wrong. Submit your own stories.
Hashtag TOMBC.
Also, visit our new web host, Skeptic Inc. Network.
Is that the website skepticinc.com?
That's the one. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, circle us on Google+, and validate us in life. Hit the Submit a Story link on our website and share your own crazy stories, or tweet the short ones with the hashtag TOMBC. Barbara Drescher is a contributing editor to our blog and can also be found at icbseverywhere.com. Our theme music comes to us courtesy of Mr. Deity himself, Brian Keith Dalton. You can find him at mrdeity.com.
And you could find me at youtube.com/skepticallypwned, where false claims get kicked in the nuts.
John, what did the banana do when the monkey chased it?
I honestly give up.
The banana split. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Monkey.
Monkey who?
Monkey won't fit. That's how come I knocked.
Nice. We hope you've enjoyed this.
Yeah, we do. Thanks, John.
A lot of credit has to be given to Andy Serkis for throwing himself into this new art form as both artist and object. People will look back years from now and remember him as one of the first, maybe even a pioneer. I just hope people don't look back and think, man, that guy never got the credit he deserved, during a time when so many digital effects studios are closing their doors.